Welcome, everyone, to episode 5, Catching Up with Chris Jones. Back in 2013, a Berrien Springs, Michigan pro started his professional career with FLW. And in 6 years, he double qualified for the Toyota Series Championship through 2 divisions. Last year on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, he won the Rookie of the Year and finished 9th overall in the points race. A great resume he's putting together in a very young career. I want to welcome to the show. He is right now, after 3 events, the Angler of the Year leader in the point standings. And I found him. He's at home in Michigan. What's up, Ron Nelson? A politically compliant Ron Nelson. Oh, I love it, man. We're quarantined in, man. Safety first, Ron.
Absolutely. Quarantined in, safety first. It's a new era. Got to make it fun. Got to make it exciting. Got to be safe. I'm excited to be on your show today. This is amazing. I look forward to talking about fishing. Fishing is always in my mind, in my heart. It's buried in my soul. I love it.
Absolutely, and you're so good at it, man. So good at it. How have you been? I haven't seen you since Lake Martin. That was stop 3 mid-March. We got that one in. And then that we're quarantined in. You're at home, keeping safe and healthy.
Yes, I feel real blessed. All my family is safe. All my family's healthy. So I feel like it's a real blessing. Been great since Martin. It's been cold in Michigan. We've had a real cold spring, and so I definitely missed that Martin weather. We had that nice balmy, spring was happening right when we were there, unfolding before our eyes. The bass were starting to spawn good. And then I come back to Michigan, and it's like the deep freeze. We had snow and cold, but hey, spring's about to, unleash here as well. So I'm excited about it.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's so good to see you, man. Just seeing you makes me happy. You're the points leader after 3 events, and we're going to talk about that today. Your resume is incredible. And it's just, we needed to hear from Ron Nelson in this time, man. I promise you, it's good to hear from you, man.
Well, I feel honored to be on your show. This is awesome. I love being, fishing on the road, traveling. So I missed that part of it. But, when you reached out to me and said, to be on the show, I'm like, absolutely. I would love to be. It'd be an honor. I feel real blessed to be here.
Absolutely. We're blessed to have you, man. The Berrien Springs, Michigan Pro has won $500,000 in a very young career with FLW. A resume that includes 3 wins, 11 top 10s in 57 events. Incredible. He makes the top 10 1/5 of the time, 1 out of every 5 tournaments. Very impressive. He's a former Forest Wood Cup qualifier last year. He qualified that. It was his rookie year on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. He finished 9th in the points race overall. He edged out Miles Berghoff and some of those other rookies to win that coveted Rookie of the Year title. And you know what? No sophomore slump for this pro. 3 events, 2 top 10s, and an 11th place finish. We're going to talk more about that a little bit later in the show, but a guy who's having a lot of success on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. And you know what? You did this the right way, man. You started fishing. Let's just talk about the Toyota Series and what that means to you. And for the people that don't know that are watching, he started the Toyota Series Northern Division, all right, in 2013. Listen to his rankings. In 2013, he finished 7th. 2014, he finished 9th. 2016, he was 4th. 2017, he was 7th. 2018, he was 3rd. And 2019, he was 10th. And if you think that's impressive, and it is, he also has been fishing the Southeastern Division. Now, this pro's from Michigan, man. All right, so in 2014, in his first year in the Southeastern Division, he finished 35th. Now, listen to this. 2015, 13th. 2016, 13th. 2017, 10th place in the point standings. And then 2018, he finished 15th. Double qualified for the Toyota Series Championship every year since he's been fishing it. That is absolutely 100% incredible, Ron. That's a Toyota Series been good setting you up for this Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel real blessed. Those stats, I don't even look at them.
I get
But
it.
yeah, it sounds pretty cool when you actually say it. I've worked hard, but when you something you actually love to do and you're passionate about it, it doesn't feel like it's hard work. I mean, I feel real blessed to have the success I've had. I've had a lot of faults, a lot of missed chances. Fishing that Southeast Division is different. Like I said, from Michigan, and that's what really kind of drove me. Is I really want to step out of my box and fish a shad spawn that I never have here in Michigan to fish, and to fish them 8-10 pound fish that live down south. And that really set the fire in me to want to to fish the tour at some point. It's just been a long time coming. I do look back sometimes and go, man, if I would have jumped in and fished the tour that first year, was I ready? Has my fishing skills really grown much? I'd say I was probably ready back then. It wasn't ready on the home front. It wasn't time with the rest of my life to make that step. And I feel like now I'm an old man compared to my was back then. I turned 45 today, so it's my birthday today. So I'm glad to share my birthday with you on this live show here. But it's been a real blessed journey, and I look forward to a lot of new adventures ahead of me. And the tour has been awesome. I mean, I tell you, the guys who are watching this, who are thinking about going to that level, you're missing out if you're not following your dreams. I mean, it's been a dream of mine to step up to that next level, and it's been a real worthwhile journey.
Absolutely. The Toyota Series has expanded to 8 divisions now, a very lucrative Toyota Series championship. So more opportunities for guys to qualify like you did for the
Yep.
Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. And hey, talk about the first time going down fishing in that Southeastern Division. I mean, this is a Northern Division guy who's had a lot of success up north. But yeah, you look around, you're seeing some of the Tackle Warehouse pros that are fishing against you, and the best of the best regionally speaking, man. It had to be intimidating, but you know what? You're cooler than the other side of the pillow.
It was stepping, just going to Florida. I mean, starting off at Okeechobee every year, that to me was like a highlight, because you leave in the blizzard typically that time of year to drive out of here, and you just watch that progression as it gets warmer as you drive south, and then to actually get to Okeechobee and the birds are all chirping. It's springtime. Even it is cool down there sometimes. You get cold fronts, but to step down there and fish, to learn that lake and fish that lake, it's a beautiful place. I mean, Scott Martin, he is super blessed to be raised down there and to grow up in that natural environment. And then to fish that Costa Series back then, what it was called, the Rayovac, now the Toyota Series, which is awesome that Toyota has stepped up and sponsored that series. The big part of it is they were usually full, like maxed out. Like there's usually 250 boats
I know.
fishing that out. So I'm like, this is just pretty cool. I mean, it was exciting. I mean, that was really exciting to be down there, just to blast off in the morning, and to go fish that big cattail jungle. I mean, it's a neat place.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that's cool, because I think a lot of people would be so intimidated that they're fishing a lot of water, new scenery, all kinds of different kinds of vegetation. I think a lot of guys would probably just get spun out in that situation, but not Ron Nelson.
Oh, there's times I get tested. I mean, those Florida fish are a whole different bass. I mean, you think,
Yep.
oh, I can go catch bass in Michigan, bass in Florida. If you can figure those fish out, it makes the rest of the country kind of easy, because those fish, the little tiny change of weather, the wind,
Oh man,
they just can shut down, and you cannot catch them the way you did the day before.
absolutely. Talk about Berrien Springs, Michigan, man. What kind of lakes, rivers, ponds did you grow up fishing, man? What prepped you to step into the Toyota Series and have so much success?
I feel real blessed to be in the area I'm at now. We've got Lake Michigan just a few miles from my house. We've got a river called the St. Joseph River that flows north into Lake Michigan. That's, I fish a lot of salmon, steelhead, walleye, that kind of stuff growing up as a kid. And so that kind of prepped me a little bit. Fishing current kind of prepped me for fishing tides a little bit out east, just understanding how fish set up in the current. And so you get some smallmouth in this region, of course, that help, kind of build some understanding to sight fishing. And I loved fishing ponds as a kid. I'd love to just climb up a tree and see that big old bass cruising down that bank, or see her on a bed. I just have always been, I guess, blessed with good vision, and
Absolutely.
so I don't really realize it. You know, a lot of guys say, "Oh, you're a great sight fisherman." I'm like, no, I just love to do it. I don't think I'm that good at it, but it's just, I've been real blessed to start fishing at a young age. And then to grow up into fishing tournaments. I was real blessed to win the first tournament I ever fished. As a team tournament locally, and that kind of got me started. And it was exciting. And then to fish my first FLW event, as far as the coastal levels, the series level, to win that one on Smith Mountain Lake was, reassuring as well. Just, the fishing's always paid for itself. I've been real blessed on that aspect on a hobby level. And so to try to continue to follow a passion, to continue to grow the sport within myself has been really, really cool.
Absolutely, man. Well, I can tell you that's giving us the juice about Ron Nelson, man. I was kind of wondering where Berrien Springs was at. I didn't realize you were so close to Lake Michigan. Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot of good waters around you. You've been fishing for a long time, and you can tell you got a passion for it, man. And you can tell that. We're going to talk about FLW Live, but when we watch you on FLW Live, there's two things that really make FLW Live really good with anglers, and that's education and entertainment. And you and I were talking before we started the show, and it's when I'm watching you on FLW Live, I think you're going to catch a fish like every cast that you make. You're so good in that aspect, man. That's and that's not easy to keep the audience on the edge of their seat. That's not easy. But when you are in that zone and focused, there's none better in the game right now. You get in that zone, man, and it's seriously you usually bring the thunder to the weigh-in.
Nah, I would go that's stretching it there, But I love the FLW. I mean, I will tell you now, and tell the fans that are watching this, the staff, how they've treated me, how I see them treat other people, hats off. I mean, top class. I love them, and so I feel real honored to be a part of the family, if you want to call it. They are. You see them a lot. We travel with them. You see them over and over, and you get a lot of respect. And I have a lot of respect for them as well. And it's been a big part of my life here, as it evolves and I grow into spending more time fishing and more time traveling. And I just felt like it's a natural fit for me. And it's been a real blessing.
Absolutely. I've been blessed to work with FLW since 2002. I was a Toyota Series tournament director. Back then it was the EverStart Series. And man, you're right. It really is a family thing. We all do travel and see the country together, and we have each other's backs. There's nothing that we wouldn't do for our anglers. We love what we do, man. There's a passion. We all have this passion, this addiction for fishing, man, and I love it. It's healthy. It's a God sport, and it truly is a lot of fun. Hey, listen, last year, rookie year, Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. We didn't start out too good out of the gates. Lake Thelma Rayburn, I think that was a pretty tough finish. You went on to have great finishes, though, man. I think you were third at Lake Chickamauga. You end up edging out Miles Berghoff for the Rookie of the Year title. Went on to fish the Forest Wood Cup. This year, you got some revenge on Sam Rayburn. This year, back in January, Ron Nelson finished 5th place at Sam Rayburn. In February, we went to the Harris Chain of Lakes in Florida, where he posted an 11th place finish. And then just a month ago, late Martin, Alabama, he finished 2nd. So 5th, 11th, and 2nd. Man, you got that momentum ball rolling in the right direction. It was good to get some revenge on Sam Rayburn, wasn't it, after last year?
Last year was a rookie mistake that first day. I mean, I had a mega school of fish. They were biting. I had a little mechanical issue going on, and they kind of got ahead of me, and I just kind of spun out. And, I should have finished really well last year on Rayburn, so I was anxious to get back there. That is a beautiful lake. It's an amazing lake to fish. The fish are, that time of year, they're, pre-spawn. There was probably a little bit of spawn starting to happen, but just you catch big ones everywhere in that lake. And it was just, I was anxious to get back. And they announced a schedule that they were going back there again. I'm like, not so much redemption for the lake, but I was just anxious to get back there and fish that pre-spawn because, I mean, it's just different. I mean, it's kind of like, I feel like I'm fishing home when I fish Texas. That's my first time actually fishing Texas, but I felt comfortable fishing Texas.
Right.
That makes sense. I mean, just, the landscape, the weed growth, there's a lot of timber, which is kind of new to me, but, I felt like I really adjusted really well and understood the fish movement on that lake.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a mindset of a champion too, right? I do, man, because a lot of people, they wouldn't want to go up They wouldn't want to go back to that lake after, having a tough event there last year. But, you've got that different kind of mindset. And I think that's what makes you so successful. You don't fear it. You're like, hey, listen, I just need to make some adjustments and adapt to what's going on and make sure that we're moving this thing in the right direction. I think a lot of guys, they're beat before they ever put their boat in the water. It's such a mental game. Talk about the mental game, man. I mean, this is a mental game.
It is.
A game of decisions, man. Timing, execution.
But I think any sport, if you're a true athlete, and you're a true competitor, it ultimately comes down to that mental strength, that fight, that grit, that desire to really, go forward into, I don't care if you're in golf and you end up in a hazard, you better get out of it and you better make it right and then put it behind you. And that's some of the hardest thing is fishing is, making mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, but you got to put them behind you. You got to focus on what the next opportunity is and to make yourself mentally strong. And it's what makes fishing tournaments a lot different than just fishing for fun, because
Sure.
Fishing tournament is about decision making, and every fish you catch puts you in a different opportunity to make a different decision. And so it's just a lot of fun, and the strategy of it, and I do look forward to hopefully qualifying next year to move up to the next bracket and fish the other year. It'll be a different strategy, but it's still, you look at Brian Thrift, which I give my hats off to him. I don't have a hat on, but Brian, congrats on making that change. And
Sure.
he is my number one angler to watch as far as, he's got the mental power, the desire to win. And, he's an amazing fisherman and a person, he's a super nice guy as well, but a heck of a fisherman.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you're exactly right. So, hey, Major League Fishing acquires FLW last fall. And I can tell you, this partnership, they've helped take us to the next level, the Bass Pro Tour. How awesome would that be? Against the best in the world, no entry fees. That's where we're moving this train, man. That's where Ron Nelson needs to be in the future.
Yeah, I look forward to to making that change, that direction. It's an amazing format. It's great on the fisheries that they catch those fish and let them go immediately. It's a different format altogether, and it's entertainment in a different sense, a different form, and it really exposes the anglers a lot of different ways that you get to, as a fan, you can watch them and learn how they fish and actually see their meltdowns or see how they go through a hardship and, push through it. Whereas in our series, you don't see that as much unless you're on live. then you can see a guy have a great day or have a meltdown.
Sure.
But I'm a fan of a lot of guys that fish and that work hard, and I feel like I'm a rookie still, even as my sophomore year. The guys who have fished for a living, hats off to them because it's hard. I mean, it's hard. I look at Brian Thrift again, as a person who keeps himself organized and fishes all the time, stays in tune with what's going on, and it has a nonstop burning desire to win. And that's awesome.
Absolutely. You remind me a lot of Thrift in the way you go about your business, man. And you think about Thrift and Dudley, who moved over to the Bass Pro Tour. Some of the other FLW pros that have moved over there, in the past, they're just having so much success. They love it. And you know what? You're going to get a taste of that. In August, the FLW title, $200,000 first place prize on the line, top 50 qualify from the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. And that's going to be Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour formatted tournament, man. On the St. Lawrence River. I know you're looking forward to that.
Where's that at again?
Yeah, exactly. New York.
Yeah, I'm getting excited just hearing that St. Lawrence River. Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to, qualifying for that. I'm sure I will at this point in the year as far as the points. I'm leading the points, and it's not a lock. I mean, I could still not make it, but I expect to make it. I do look forward to fishing that fishery. That's an amazing fishery. They did a great job picking that fishery for that event. That new format will definitely change how I'm going to fish that fishery. It'll definitely change a lot of strategy for a lot of guys fishing that place, but it'll be a tournament to watch. I mean, it'll be a fish catching tournament for sure.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait to get there. New York has been good to you. You've got 2 Toyota Series wins up there at Lake Champlain. Your third Toyota Series win came 2013, Smith Mountain Lake. Very impressive. But let's talk about where we're at after 3 events. So you're leading the Angler of the Year points race right now, but don't look in the rearview mirror, man. Matt Becker, another Northern guy, man. He's 29 points back, so you got a pretty good lead there. Becker's in second. Jonathan Canada is in third. John Cox is in fourth, and Dylan Hayes in fifth. And then the list. It's a competitive list, man. But right now, you're 29 points ahead of second place. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good cushion.
I wouldn't call anything in fishing a cushion. I would definitely call it, an honor to be leading the points right now. I've worked hard to be where I'm at, and hats off to those guys too. They're in contention for the race, and we're, mid-season technically where we're at. And, I don't fish looking back. I fish looking forward. And so I don't worry about the guys behind me. I'm just worried about catching those fish and doing my job and having fun doing it. So, whoever wins the points in the year, I hope it's myself. I've worked hard to be where I'm at. And if it's somebody else, then I'll give the hats off to them and, congratulate them. I tell you, John Canada, he's a heck of a guy. I've gotten to know him as a friendship here, as time gone on. And, we all want that title bad. We all work hard for that. That's the ultimate goal. That's kind of the ultimate prize. I mean, yeah, the championship sounds nice. Winning tournament sounds nice, but to win that Angler of the Year trophy, that's kind of, as a statement made that, it's hard.
Absolutely.
One bad day. I mean, like I saw last year, I met one bad day on Rayburn last year, and it really took me out of contention, for that title. So, it can be taken from you real quick.
Absolutely. You stay pretty focused. That's what I love about you, man. It's going to be hard to take it from you. I can tell you, how awesome would it be to win the Rookie of the Year title in 2019 and then 2020? No sophomore slump for Ron Nelson. Turns around, wins the Angler of the Year title. What a great story that would be, man. Definitely one of the best anglers in the game today. Talk about practice strategies, man. Before you go, where does this start for you? And does that start with researching the lakes, the rivers at home? And then talk about practice strategies, man. Go-to baits. You're a noted sight fisherman. What makes you so good at seeing those bass?
I don't know what makes me so good at seeing those bass. To me, it just, feels natural. So I've been blessed, really blessed with good eyesight, I guess, to see shapes or color separation or what. But a lot of times you're just like, hey, look at that big old 5-pounder, and the guy's like, I don't see that fish, So, I feel real blessed to that. But no, that's not just my only strength, as far as catching fish either. I mean, I like to fish off the ledges. I like to flip, punch. I like to do it all. But when you start looking at my track record, then I start realizing that is definitely a strength of mine. I don't embrace it really. I mean, I love doing it, but I don't really truly embrace, I guess, that skill set,
Sure.
As far as practicing, tournaments, I spend a little time, on Google Earth and that kind of stuff. But more times than not, if you get a predetermined idea, like I'm going to catch them this way or find them here, you get there, you're disappointed. So for me, it's just, if I'm able to, pre-scout the lake, that's ideal to show up and fish it for a day or two. But, the tour schedule makes that hard. And so this year, it felt nice going back to Rayburn because I had some history on Rayburn from last year. I felt comfortable. But going into the second event there on Florida, that chain was new to me, and so Martin was new to me. And so I looked at Martin going, man, I thought that would be a kind of a bump in the road this year potentially. And so now this whole virus is a bump in the road. It's been a whole, strategy change, game change. Because for me, my natural rhythm of doing well is like John Cox, kind of when the fish are shallow. You can look at them. You can understand the fish movement because it changes by the hour in the springtime. But I also don't have a problem going out deep for them either, So I look forward to trying to put a strategy together. But right now, my biggest focus is just enjoying my time with my wife, being home, our dog, and making the best of this new challenge we're facing outside of the fishing world. Absolutely. And not even really thinking about fishing a whole lot right now, to be honest, because if I do start thinking about it, then it gets my competitive juices really flowing. I really want to start getting a mindset ready because you have to have your mind ready first before you can step into any event. And, because it's exciting. I mean, I'm excited to say, hey, we might go to this lake next. And that's another challenge too we are facing is what's going to be our next event. And, for me, our next event is going to be our first event of the year in my mind. I'm going to push the rest of the season behind me like it's done and gone. I'm starting over. And so that's a big part of my strategy for practice too, is just you take one tournament at a time, you don't get ahead of yourself. And I'll take a lake and really pick what those fish are supposed to be doing that time of year based on the temperature of the water, based on the seasonal migration of those fish, and then a little research as far as what's a good fish for a fishery. Because, some fish like martin, when you caught that 2.5 pounder, boy, I'd have been so excited to catch a nice solid 2.5 pound fish.
Sure.
Or a lot of places in the country, you catch a 2.5 pounder, you're like, yeah, should I even box it? Should I, it's nothing, that special. But so a lot of it is too is understanding the lake's potential to catch certain size of fish.
Absolutely.
And getting to Martin was I'd love to go back to Martin again. Not that I did well, but just it's fun. I mean, you could catch the fire out of them spotted bass. You catch the fire out of the largemouth. Any way you wanted to catch them, deep, shallow, mid range. And so that was definitely a fun lake to fish. You just never got bored. Never got Now you get those fisheries where you only get 7 or 8, 10 bites a day. That's more of a grind than it is catching a bunch of small bass, in my opinion.
Right. Right. Yeah, breaking it down for us, man. Hey, number one go-to bait. What's your number one go-to bait? If you had to choose one bait, that's it. You got one bait in the boat. That's it. One bait. Ron Nelson says, "Give me
a hook and a sinker." I couldn't answer that question for you, because I tell you what, I don't have a favorite bait. I really don't. I mean, as bad as that
sounds. That's what makes you good, man. That's what makes you good.
I absolutely love punching and flipping. Now, I'm not very good at it. I'll tell you now. That's one thing I need to, spend more time doing is a heavy cover, heavy mat, punch and flipping. That's fun. That's combat fishing, But it's just, it's to me fishing, fishing a solid plastic on an open ball head, whether it's a Kitech swim bait or a speed craw or a beaver or something. That's all kind of natural to me, But it's just when you step out of your element and you fish something new and fish that big braided line and that big hook and that big weight, that's something different, and it's exciting. I love, so I'd probably have to say a flipping punching rig would be my number one bait I'd just go to. I could flip all day and never get tired.
I love that, man. Love that. Talk about the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, man. What's it like traveling like you do? The competition is obviously it's fierce, but the friendships that we make in this sport last a lifetime. I always say, the money spins, the hardware lasts forever. The hardware will collect some dust along the way, but man, the friendships forever.
Yeah, I want to step back actually, and step out of the Pro Tour and actually step back into the Toyota Series again.
Yeah,
that's where we had travel partners a little bit, because you could, practice together, travel together. And I do want to give a shout out to Leroy Harriet. He's out in D.C., and I want to give a shout out to Rick Lasota. He was a travel partner of mine as well. He's out of St. Joe area, right here in Michigan, close by.
Okay. Sure.
They were partners with me when I won in Champlain both years, and it's like to have that victory when you have a friend right there with you is something special, and then now you said to jump into the Pro Tour, there's a different element as far as, you're traveling by yourself. My wife, she cannot travel with me because she's got a business to run when she's at home and take care of our dogs and our home front when I'm gone fishing. And so but she does, if I do well, even if I don't do well, but she comes occasionally to get a little break from the home to spend that quality time with me when I'm fishing. So it's nice to have her show up and be the extra support, because it's hard. I mean, you're traveling on your own, pre-fishing on your own.
Yep.
Mentally it's a mental sport. And so to stay focused and, not get down if you have a tough practice or, it's a different strategy altogether. But I tell you, it is, I do like the format that they have and I love co-anglers fishing. I love co-anglers fishing on the Costa Series and all that other Rayovac Series and now the Toyota Series.
Sure.
But it's another level. Now it's all on you. Fishing a Pro Tour event by yourself with a marshal or with a camera guy when you've made the top 10. You got to figure those fish out, because there's times that co-angler catches that fish and you go, "Oh, I see how he caught that fish," and it kind of gives you a little insight to what the fish are doing. Whereas now all the data you get is just strictly your data, and so it makes it it's cool. I mean, I like it.
Absolutely, yeah. That's breaking it down for us right there, man. You were talking about your wife, man. I know you always give her a lot of love on the stage. She's your number one sponsor.
Oh, yeah. Hats off to my wife, Carla. I mean, she's an amazing woman, because it's hard. I mean, I will tell you, it's hard to be on the road, but it's hard for her to be home without me, and I'm following my dream, and she's supporting me following my dream. And I understand that, because to step back and to support somebody, it's not always easy, you know. And
Yep.
so all of us fishermen, we have this addiction, this passion, this love, you know. It's a good, healthy love, you know, but it's something that drives us, and it fuels our heart and our spirit. And she understands that, and understands my needs to go, you know, and to catch those fish. I mean, as dumb as it sounds, you know, we're traveling the country catching fish, but it's not just catching fish. It's that puzzle. It's that competition. You know, it's that never-ending quest for knowledge, because you can be the best in the world at fishing, and you will not stay there. I mean, the next guy's going to come leapfrog you, and he's going to take over that best spot, because the fishing industry is changing. The technology is changing. The graphs are changing. The spotlight technology on their, you know, trolling motors. I mean, it's constantly having to evolve. I mean, you know, hats off to the old guys like Nixon. I mean, who's been around through the whole transition of fishing, and to still evolve and to keep learning new stuff. I mean, that's amazing.
It's real easy to get set in your ways.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, you used to catch them a certain way, and you want to just go back to it, and you can't. You better keep on educating yourself and keep on learning new techniques and just technologies. And
Yep.
but they're just a bass, you know, too. But it's just they just it's a nonstop quest for knowledge.
Yep. Are you a electronics guru too? You use your
You know,
graph a lot, or how
I'm
important is that?
I'm a Lowrance guy, and I love their product. You know, I feel real blessed to be running their product. They've got some amazing technology out there, and they all, you know, all the companies do. And you know, where I live in the country, you know, we don't have a lot of the ledge, like fishing Kentucky Lake where you're scanning ledges for hours and hours. Don't get me wrong, I can do it, and I love to do it, and I love catching them fish once you find them, because it's, you know, that's the best part about it. You know, is
Yep.
it's that hunting for that school of fish, or bed fishing, it's hunting for that big fish or anything. It's always about that hunt, trying to figure them out, using those graphs, you know, to find them. I mean, it's, you know, it's fun. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, when I first started fishing years back, I mean, the first graph I had was a little, I think a Lowrance 520 or something, little tiny black and white, you know, graph, and I had a flasher on my boat, and you know, we still caught them, you know. But to see that technology grow, and to, you know, I will say it was nice starting off fishing a long time ago before the technology came out, because it really helps you build instinct and that intuition. Whereas now you can just drive by, you know, with the mapping technology and the GPS stuff, you can drive by, you know exactly what that guy's fishing on, and there's no secrets that way. I mean, so before
Right.
you had to really find those little hidden gems, you know, put the time in the water. Now it's like, you know, there's no secrets anymore.
No secrets anymore. We've got a major youth movement going on in the sport right now, man. These high school kids, college kids, they come into the game hungry, man, and it's as competitive as it's ever been.
Yeah, I'm really all for that. I mean, I love to promote the sport of fishing. You know, it's awesome to see the young guys get into the sport, and to see their perspective of the sport. You know, I just hope that they understand the respect issue and the ethics of it. And because it's so easy now to just drive by a guy and go, oh, yeah, he's fishing the tip of that hump, and you know exactly what he's fishing. And, you know, but did you find, you know, that spot, or did you watch that guy catch those fish? And so there's a lot of ethics involved that, you know, they're learning. And I think they're doing a great job of, you know, of learning the ethics of it. But it's just, I love that movement. I love the passion they have for the sport as well. And it's neat to watch.
It really is, man. Hey, let's talk about your fishing hero.
You know, I got a bunch of them. I mean, I'm from Michigan. Obviously, we got the Van Dam family here. You know, Kevin is amazing, you know, angler that's really set the stone for the pathway for a lot of young guys wanting to, you know, follow their dream. You know, but I will say, you know, one of my favorite anglers too is Takahiro Amori, because Takahiro came here to follow his passion for fishing.
Sure.
And so look at the obstacles he had to deal with. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to, you know, go catch some fish. He had to learn the language and find a place to fit in and find the sponsors. And, you know, he's one of my favorite guys to watch, because not so much his fishing ability, but just his same thing, the sheer grit, the sheer love for the sport.
Yep.
To come to this country to catch a bass. You know, I travel to, you know, my local country. He leaves his country to come to another country to catch a bass. And that's amazing.
Absolutely, man. Gary Yamamoto's taking such good care of a lot of those Japanese anglers that have come over. And you're right, man. That's making the total sacrifice and commitment to their passion. And Tak is a great guy, man. A guy that's won a lot of money professionally fishing, and you could see his passion when you watch him on television, man. He's doing a great job on the Bass Pro Tour, and Yeah, that's pretty cool. What about your most memorable fish catch from a tournament, from anything? Give me a fish catch story, man. I know you've got one.
Oh, I've got one. I'd probably say my top memorable story was I was a kid fishing off the shore down in Florida. My parents would take us down to Florida, down to Avon Park area, which is down by Sebring, Florida. My dad's twin sister would live down there, full time. And so her husband, Elvin, always made a point to take us fishing. He had a bass boat, didn't really fish. His business partner had a bass boat, but he'd say, hey, you guys come down. I was 13, 14 years old, whatever, 12, 13, and made sure we had the best rods and reels and, went fishing. Well, I remember getting dropped off on the shore, which there's snakes in Florida, so we're like afraid to walk in that grass. But when you get that fishing rod in your hand, you're going to go out to that water and start catching fish. And I remember walking up to that shore and seeing my first like 10, 11 pound bass swim up, with the male foul. And I pitched that jig out there and she just rolled over and ate it. And I didn't set the hook even. I was just like in awe of that fish, just so big, that bait. I just like did not set the hook, and she swam about 3-4 feet, spit out, and then swam off. Well, then I watched her kind of make a little route, and then she, pitched that jig out again. I was like, I'm gonna catch her this time. She came back, and when she came back, I jacked her good. She ate that jig, and catch my first big Florida bass was real exciting. We tried to let that fish go and revive her. She was really old. I mean, she was all spawned out, like about 11 pounds, but she was a giant fish. I spent an hour and she just would belly up and we'd flush her belly up, and she was spent, and it was sad, but that was my first mounted fish. My aunt said, you know what, I really want to make this a special memory for you. Let's, and I felt catch 22. I wanted to let the fish go because I love to lease fish. That's where they belong.
Sure.
But that fish had just met that, it just, it was that age in its life where it was just expired. So that fish is on my wall. It's, it's a part of my childhood I never forget because my aunt passed away.
That I got you. That was a spark that lit the fire right there for Ron Nelson. I love that story. It's a great story, man. We've all got those stories. And, it's kind of one of those things too, man, where we're conservationists at heart.
Yep.
FLW maintains a 98.9% alive release ratio. It's what we do. And, that's the passion. Well, Ron, this is your time, man. Before we close this show, man, is there anyone in the FLW universe that you want to throw out some love to? Your time, Ron Nelson.
Well, I do want to, I got to thank 13 Fishing this year for getting behind me and supplying me with the top-notch products they have. I mean, I absolutely love their products, and it's really made a big change in my fishing this last year. I mean, last year I had a combination of different rods, reels, and it was just, there was times you pick up, it's like picking up a golf club doesn't match the other golf club, and pitching up, now I'm grabbing rods and reels are all matched. It's just, it's a lot easier to fish with them. I mean, I absolutely love their products. So I would say they have really helped me step my game up this year to catch the fish I've caught. And I've used a lot of their baits this year as well to catch fish, and it's been a real blessing, And then another step in my boat this year is something new with lithium batteries, running Militech, M-Tech Militech batteries. They're lithium, they're well priced. And same thing, that's a huge effect. I mean, last year I had 2 tournaments last year in practice. Well, I couldn't practice, my batteries were dead. And so this year, that's not been an issue. And that's another game changer. You've got to get those good products behind you that you can go forward with in confidence and not have those issues, And so same thing, I've always ran a Mercury, love my Mercury power poles, Lowrance. I just, I run the basic, but they're solid products. They're a phenomenal product that keeps you focused on fishing, not have to worry about, you get back to check-in, and that's been huge, to have those good products. And I look forward, next year, and as fishing evolves and we get through this virus, to, hopefully qualifying to, eventually make that next step to fishing the pro bass, the 5, just the whole different format change. I look forward to leaving that 5 bass limit behind me a little bit for a while and try to catch as many fish as I can. So a lot of things to look forward to, but I do want to thank you for taking your time to interview me, and so I can share my passion with people that are watching, because I love fishing. I love the youth movement. I think FLW has been on top of it from day one, as far as just they have a passion for fishing as well. And you really see that passion coming out, in the ownership there, and now to have new ownership combined with it, is really, they have a lot of passion as well, and they've got, I think, a lot of vision for our sport to continue the progress, because we have to evolve. If you don't evolve and keep changing with the sport, you'll be a has-been. And so I think FLW as a family has done a real good job to keep looking forward to our best interest and try to keep evolving the industry.
Sure appreciate those kind words on behalf of FLW. We love Ron Nelson. Hey, he is your points leader after 3 events on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, almost halfway through the season. Ron Nelson, thanks for joining me today, man.
Hey, it's been an honor and a pleasure, and I do want to say just, one more thing is, like, I'm a big Christian, and I'm praying for the people who are struggling out there right now. And I feel real blessed to be where I'm at. Jesus Christ is my Savior. And we're all blessed. And I feel like I'm really blessed to be a part of this. And, hope we get through this as a country. I'm looking forward to putting this virus behind us and to the next fishing tournament. I'm super excited when you start talking fishing. It gets my soul warmed up. I'm anxious for it. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for the competition and look forward to it.
Hey, I love this guy, man. He's got his priorities straight. Ron Nelson joining me for Catching Up with Chris Jones, episode 5. Thanks so much for joining me, Ron.
Thanks for having me, and look forward to seeing you at the next tournament.
You got it.
5 bass limit.
That's a 5 bass limit. Woo! Your 2 best bass, Ron Nelson.
That's right. Hey, thanks for the hard work. Appreciate it.
You got it, brother. Thanks for joining me, man. Hey, listen, for everything fishing, log on to FLWfishing.com. It's the world's most popular competitive fishing website. And join me next week for a new pro on Catching Up with Chris Jones. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless you. See you next week.